Hey, I'm doing well, and even better that I'm casting Elysium 2 days in a row. It's always a treat to watch this team play, and I'm very excited to see what this matchup has in store. And I really like Wraith Dead Dog Saloon matchups because they're so fast paced. Even though Wraith is standard M1 killer for the most part with some mobility, on the Dead Dog Saloon, these chases are usually coming in very, very quickly. And we do see already a couple pallets going early in the beginning of the game, and no tag for Xeno just yet. But we do have Killer Shack here. Not as safe. The breakable wall is broken. But Zeno could be securing a hit here with a nice body block. And the first hit does come in here onto Perks. Yep, it's just... Oof. Yeah, like Perks will have to be playing 50s on this pallet pretty much. It's not the safest if they don't have the distance to make the window or anything like that. And especially on ping, you do have to remember this matchup is going to be NA to EU, so it's going to be even harder to play these pallets. And Perks does go down relatively quickly. Not the worst start for Sorrow here, but that first down does come in before we do hear a gen pop in the distance. So that'll be the first pain resonance of the game coming in to the main building. And of course, Corrupt is out since the first down already came in. And I do also want to point out that if Zeno is able to spread pressure here and get some tags, he also has a neat little perk called Sloppy Butcher on the side there. So that can keep them injured for a while. And I do think on a small map like this, with a mobility killer like Wraith, those tags can mean so much. So I do think, depending on how the survivors play around this person on hook, it could change a lot. And we do see Zeno going back, potentially going for a tunnel. Ooh, do they make the Shack pallet? They do not. That'll be the second down onto Perks, and I don't think anybody's here for the pallet save. Is there? Nope, nobody's here. Yeah. Ooh, yeah, this is looking dangerous for Sorrow. This will be a Death Hook survivor at 5 gens. They do have a bit of gen progress. We know that there's at least 2 generators with a lot, but this is still a very strong start for Zeno. And he gets a tag with Sloppy Butcher onto easy, and they're going to have to leave. And that high progress generator will regress, and they fast pull. They unhook so quickly. Do you think this could be a mistake? Yep, I think you're probably right. And we do see somebody coming in for a potential hit take. Patrol went in for it, but didn't quite make it in time. But they are here. Zeno just kind of demon picks that. Do they get the pallet save? They do not. I don't know if they even went for it. But we did see 2 gens pop in the distance, and now we see main building as well as going to pop. But that's a death with 2 injuries with Sloppy Butcher. So they're entering the 3v1 with 2 generators remaining, and they don't even have everybody healthy. So and Zeno knows that there's at least somebody here because of this gen pop. So he's finding this reset. And I think this is problems for Sorrow because this could be a snowball. Yep, and another thing to keep in mind for these Wraith sets is Wraith is a lower tier killer, so we do not see all the popular perks we'd see against a Nurse or a Blight or anything like that as a down onto easy comes in. But yeah, no unbreakable. There's going to be no substantial reset perks such as Botany Knowledge or Will Make It or anything like that, or Empathic Connection. So these survivors will have a very hard time healing these injuries, and right now Patrol's the only survivor standing. If Xeno finds Patrol from pretty far away, it's pretty much game over. And a 4K at 2 generators remaining is a fantastic result for Xeno and really good for Elysium survivors here. So I do think Xeno is about to walk away with this with a very strong performance. Absolutely. I do think what you have to do is pretty much what Patrol just did. You do not want to get seen. You want to stealth. You want to be a little bit of a rat, and then whenever you have an opportunity to pick up one of the slugs, you take it. Because what happens is if the one healthy person that's up gets found far away from the slugs, it's pretty much game over. Because that'll be another tag for free and maybe a down before they even get there. Easy does go down, but we did see Patrol also pick up the ace player there. So we do have 2 survivors up. But yes, in a 3v1 like this, it's very important for that one healthy person to not get found too early and take the window they can to help their teammates. And I believe that the injured ace hopped on Gallows, which is a pretty unsafe generator. If Xeno finds them, that's most likely death. But I don't think Xeno is playing for that. He just has the game sense and knows somebody is going to come in for the sunhook, and he catches it. Yep, and I do. Yep, the generator progress has come to a halt, and I do think Xeno coming back, as we see a whiff of that walker, I think Xeno coming back to that hook is the best play he could make because he's pressuring 2 injured survivors versus a healthy Patrol, realizing it's more worth his time to go back and pressure multiple survivors. And because they're injured, and again, we don't have any crazy reset perks or anything like that, Ace is just going to force locker and have to accept the down. And now we're kind of back in a similar position. We have somebody on hook and only 2 survivors up, one of which being injured, who Xeno finds right now. So this really just feels like damage control for the Sorrow survivors, and it'd be impressive if they can get another generator done. I will see what they can do. I don't want to count anybody out too early, but with the amount of pressure Xeno has in this 3v1 especially, it's just looking very difficult for Sorrow as the down onto easy comes in.
Yeah, it feels like in order to get any sort of generator done at this point, the survivors are going to have to sacrifice someone and just kind of let someone go on hook. I don't know. I'm with you. I would be very surprised if they can get anything else accomplished on a generator. However, Nia is still healthy, so there is that for what it's worth. But yeah, I think that this is just going to be a little bit of cat and mouse. And I think this is a little bit of a foregone conclusion here.
Yep, I definitely agree. And Easy is getting put onto their second hook. So, I mean, on top of that, we have a survivor that's 70 seconds away from being eliminated. And you do make a good point. If they let a survivor sit on hook, they could try and get generator progress, sure. But at the same time, in a 3v1 like this, I think, like, Xeno, I'm sure, is comfortable not camping. He's going to go around the map, as we see now, pressuring them off generators. So if he finds somebody working an active generator, like right now, then that forces the other person to stick to their gen and hope Xeno doesn't bother them for 90 seconds, or go in for an unhook where they're not doing a generator at all. So this is just an insane amount of pressure we see in the 3v1. That's why whenever survivor teams enter a situation into the 3v1, they do want to have only 1 generator left. Ideally, that's the best case scenario with everybody healthy, and this match we saw neither of those. 2 gens left and multiple injuries on the board. So now we're seeing how that is coming back to bite Sorrow, because these downs are just coming in one after the other, and they are struggling to get anything done.
Yeah, you're definitely right here. And even if, you know, they could somehow set up for like a hatch play or something at the end, Xeno's not going to let that happen. Xeno has been in the comp scene for a while, and you know, they know what's up. They know to look out for those sorts of things. So I think this is definitely over at this point, and it's just a matter of Xeno kind of cleaning up the ends here.
Yep, well said. Cleaning up the ends. This game is just about over, and he knows where everybody is. I mean, he saw the ace player drop down from Gallows and run back, I think, behind Shaq, and now he's chasing a healthy Patrol. And if he's able to eliminate one of these survivors while the other one is injured, which they will be, because as long as this attack onto Patrol comes in, they have no means to heal themselves. There's going to be no med kits or anything like that. So the survivor stealthing to go for a hatch or exit gate play will be nearly impossible. Xeno will not let it happen. And we do see the ace get found here, who doesn't have a whole lot left. A lot of this map's resources have been depleted by now. I believe he does have a pallet here, but Xeno faking that very well and gets the down. And he's suspecting Patrol is working the Gallows gen, trying to finish it, maybe get a slightly better win con. And again, very good game sense by Xeno, just denying even that. We do see the anti-3 gen mechanic coming in, but I have a hunch that it will not matter.
Yeah, Zeno did a great job of playing through this match in general. Even before the game really got started, was able to get a couple of those pallets out of the way right away, like you said. So there aren't a ton of resources left on the map to use at this point. Just really, really fast-paced, really methodic gameplay by Zeno.
Yep, I am a little surprised to see Zeno come back and pick up Ace rather than just committing to patrol and ending it. But I mean, I think he's comfortable doing this either way because, especially with Eruption down on that generator and only one injured person standing, Zeno knows he has this in the bag. But still, the last time he saw patrol was around this gallows area, and he is searching around, maybe edge map, suspecting that they will play for one of these doors after Zeno closes the hatch. And I mean, really, it's just a game of hide and seek. He's just going to look for patrol, and as soon as that happens, this game is over. But I mean, yeah, this performance from Zeno was just very strong. He played his chases super well, got a lot of pallets out of the way early, and the survivors failed at protecting their tunnel. They did try a hit tank at one point, and it didn't come in. And those like tiny mistakes just had a big difference on this game. So this just goes to show, even though Wraith can be considered usually a weaker killer, lower tier killer, he can really excel in maps spalls such as the Dead Dog Saloon, and with little survivor mistakes, they can just turn around. So we are seeing the potential of Wraith here, and Zeno, I think, played this very, very well.
Yeah, and we do tend to see... Oh, and it looks like maybe they were going to try for a hatch play, but unfortunately not going to work out for them, and Zeno knows exactly where they are. We do tend to see, when we see Wraith games in comp on small maps like this, they do just kind of dominate, and it is very impressive to see. Our survivors really kind of needed to hope for mistakes on Zeno's end, and Zeno just didn't do it. Zeno played a very clean game. Our survivors did well also. I think that's worth pointing out, but this was a really difficult scenario. But they are going to have their own chance at it in the next half of the set.
Yep, absolutely. I do think the killer for Sorrow does have a pretty rough win condition to meet, and Elysium Survivor team is particularly strong. So it is a very tall ask that they're going to have to try and fulfill. But I mean, we'll see what they can do. Nothing is impossible. Where really we can see anything this next match. So
all right, everyone, welcome back to game number 2 of set 1 of Sorrow versus Elysium. This time with Patrol on Wraith. Contra, how are you feeling about this game? I know we said that the win condition here is going to be pretty difficult. So what are you thinking?
I mean, as you just said, it is going to be very difficult for Patrol to meet this win condition, and I don't think Elysium is going to give anything for free here. So I do think we're going to see a very, very solid survivor strategy here. Elysium has been doing very well as of late, and I don't know. I mean, again, anything can happen, but Patrol does have to make something happen here. They do have to get a very early down, very early tunnel out, something, because they have to 4K with multiple generators left to take this set.
Yeah, absolutely. And Elysium is very, very good at what they do. They are good at killing. They are also good at survivors. They know how to take long chases. They know how to tank hits for each other. So I expect that this first down could be very difficult. But if they do get an early down, that could set Sorrow up for a much better match.
Yep, and as I mentioned a minute ago, the Elysium survivors are not going to give anything for free. I mean, those chases that we saw at the beginning resulted in not a single injury. Up until now, Zeno will be taking the first hit, but they do have a decent amount of generator progress. We can only assume that survivors who were pressured earlier got back towards the uncorrupted generators and are getting some progress while Zeno gets chased here. Does have the main building, but there is a slight build difference with Patrol here versus Zeno last match. They do have Bamboozle over Eruption. So very good head-on prediction. That was a ping head-on. They kind of dodged it, but then didn't. That was very interesting. That's just NATEU things, I guess.
Yeah, unfortunate. Patrol definitely recognized that it was coming, but just not quite able to get out of the way with the ping difference. Is going to be focusing chase on this Nato, though. Trying to get, again, that quick down. That first generator blowing before a single hook is going to be very, very tough to work with.
Yep, and we do see the first down come in, and if this is a pain resonance right here, that could be nice for Patrol. Very convenient regression, but it doesn't look like it is. I'm assuming this one by the gallows here is the closest pain resonance, and Patrol is going to opt to hook here, but they did pop one generator in the gallows area here. They have to go all the way here. They almost wiggle, but they do make it.
I was about to say that's gonna be pretty close.
Yep, but we did see one generator already pop in the Gallows area, so there's not really a 3-gen left over here, and on top of that, Grenaut is about 90% on this generator. But he does get body blocked here. Is definitely going to take an injury, and I mean, this is actually pretty good for Patrol. There's 2 injuries to Sloppy Butcher and somebody on hook, and he did interrupt this active generator. So he's going to go back only, I could assume, to tunnel out Xeno and try to get a survivor out of this match as quickly as possible.
Yeah, that does look to be the case here. Going to be staying on this Nadu, trying hard to get them out as quickly as possible. But again, the gens are kind of flying. Elysium doing a great job of getting progress done and taking these very long chases. Something that we've definitely seen them do before. This generator so close to being done. Ace coming in, trying to take a hit. Extend Nadu's life in the game a little bit longer. But it does look like Patrol is going to keep on Renato.
Yep, and we do see that the 3rd generator actually already popped, and they get the stun in through the cloak. So Patrol actually gets a long stun there, and Grenaut did take the down for Pedro to prevent the tunnel out a little bit longer, but that does result in somebody having to come back and rotate to pick them up, which we see Patrol catching Xeno doing. But we do see, I can only assume, Pedro picking up Grenaut off the ground in the distance, and now Patrol is chasing Xeno, and Xeno has not been hooked before. So, I mean, the good news for Patrol is that it could be pain resonance, sure, but they are not close at all to getting this game into a 3v1. And right now, the Elysium survivors have already popped 3 generators. So this is looking very, very difficult for Patrol, and I do think the Elysium survivors are going about protecting their tunnel out in a very good manner. They're not letting anybody die anytime soon.
Yeah, they did get that reset on Renato here. And yeah, this is tough. Renato really needed to get out of this game pretty quickly, definitely much sooner than now. My guess is that there is another gen somewhere that has a lot of progress that we are going to see go in the next little bit here. I will say Patrol doing a really good job of keeping everyone injured, but man, Elysium survivors they're just so good at this, and the chases are long, and I don't know. I'm kind of with you. I don't know that there's going to be a way to get this game back in hand for Patrol, unfortunately.
Yep, it'll definitely be very difficult. And to top it all off, they're chasing Pedro here in the corner of the map where 2 generators have popped. So, I mean, even if Pedro does go down here and Patrol is able to secure a 2nd stage, they are so far away from all the gens being worked. And we do see the mid-street gen pop. So now Patrol has such a bad generator set to work with. These are almost on opposite edges of the map. So Elysium will have a very easy time working these generators and keeping the chase far away. And there we go. The last generator has already popped. We see 4 injuries on the board, but this is just Wraith. This isn't Blight or any S-tier killer or anything like that. So it's very unlikely that Patrol will be able to go for a crazy slug play and get a lot of kills here.
Oh.
I think this is going to be probably a 3-man out, but Xeno does go down. And Xeno, if I'm not mistaken, is a fresh hook here.
Is Xeno a fresh hook? I thought that maybe they had been hooked, but maybe they were just slugged. I think you're right. I think that was a fresh hook there. I was just about to ask you, though, do you think we're going to see any outs here? And then the last gen popped. And I think you're right. I think we could easily see a 3-man out. Sometimes Elysium gets a little squirrely, though, and they will go for trying to get that 4th person out. It looks like that's not going to be the case here necessarily, although no. We are just going to get the 3-man out. But man, very, very well played. Unfortunately, unlike the first game where we saw, Xeno just really in control of that match from the beginning, in this one, it was the survivors that really controlled the pace of this game, and I think that that's kind of what made it. All right, everyone, welcome back to set number 2. Sorrow versus Elysium, easy on Hillbilly here. Contra, what are you expecting from this matchup?
I'm expecting a lot of fun and just really fast-paced chases, lots of action. That's how the Hillbilly sets always generally go nowadays after he got buffed a little while back. We do see Pedro with No Mither, and a lot of teams have been realizing that No Mither is just very, very strong against Hillbilly now, especially later in the game in the 3v1. It just denies a lot of slugging. Very good crouch check by Xeno on the pile of rubble by the shack, and then he gets the stun on shack pallet and is going to make some more distance. But we do see that window blocked because of a goofy little hex perk called crowd control. So these survivors can only vault these windows pretty much one time during chase. And then it'll be blocked. So yeah, I mean, Xeno's playing this chase so far and staying alive, and if he can last a long time, that could set a very strong start for Elysium survivors here.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's so funny to me is after watching all of this comp gameplay is me thinking that I could crouch tech and just getting absolutely decimated. It's so amazing to me every time I see it happen, and it happens like it can happen a few times in a match. You'll just see what should absolutely feels like it should be a hit, but these survivors getting away from it by the skin of their teeth. We do see this chase not too long, but they did get a generator done in that time, so that is good for Elysium. Easy gonna be yeeting himself across to the other side of the map, looking for another survivor to get into chase with here.
And they do find the active generator, and we see it start regressing because Easy is in fact running Hex Ruin, so pushing the survivors off these gens will regress them passively. And you're right, these crouch checks sometimes don't pay off, but there are some areas in certain maps that are always fixed you can successfully pull off, and Xeno, being a Hillbilly player, knows about that. That little trash in front of Shack window has a little elevation, so he used that perfectly. And Pedro is actually taking the down as a no-mither survivor, and Easy is forced to either give Xeno free distance or pick up and just take the hook on Pedro, because leaving him slugged there will just not result in any pressure since he can pick himself up. And that's just two hooks spread out on two different survivors. So nobody on death hook just yet, and we have seen two generators already pop in exchange. Xeno does win this pallet and get the pallet drop, and still staying alive. And we can only think that there's going to be a survivor getting Pedro off the hook now, which we just saw. So this is not the start you want if you're Easy. There isn't any slugs, there isn't anybody death hook yet, and you can only assume the survivors are about to pop a third gen, which we just saw. So Elysium is playing out of their minds right now.
Yeah, and in a game that is all about the killer getting pressure against these survivors, this is kind of difficult to watch here, just because they are doing such a great job of extending chases, forcing pickups, getting these gens done. I mean, I don't know what you do here if you're Easy. This is a really tough situation to be in.
Yep. I mean, to be honest with you, if you're Easy, I see this going one of two different ways. You can go for a risk and try to get hook Xeno here, and then leave and bait somebody to unhook with that little window they have, and then try to just get Xeno out of the game quickly. Or if you don't want to take that risk, or you're not confident in Elysium making that kind of mistake, you might want to try and chain a couple slugs and have a fresh hook you can hook in basement or somewhere just to secure 3 extra stages. But at the rate this game is going, it'll be pretty difficult for Easy to catch back up. That being said, he does take the down onto Grenout. So Grenout is going to be left on the ground while Xeno is being chased on death hook. So Easy wants to get this elimination. And I would only guess Grenout is most likely running the Unbreakable build if he's going in for his unhook. So we might see Grenout pick himself back up. And if that's the case, then Easy doesn't have a whole lot of pressure here. And we do see the pickup under Grenout come in. So I do think that was an Unbreakable.
Yeah, that was definitely what I was thinking as well. It looks like we are potentially going to be seeing Xeno go down here, but I don't know. They're doing a really good job of mind gaming, of keeping these chases going. Oh, and a really great slap with that pallet there. Again, extending their life in the game a little bit more. I'm wondering if we're going to see somebody else coming in to take a little bit of aggro here, and it looks like we are. Oh, wow. And last generator has popped. I'm not sure what we just watched from Elysium. This was wild. They gave away nothing, just like they did in the last game.
Yep, absolutely. Marcos is going down here, and I do want to point out that Xeno getting that stun at the crane pallet and not going down should be all you need to know about exit lag. If you're considering buy exit lag, that is definitely going to be what made him not go down there, because that was a very close hit. And Pedro is actually running dead hard, no mither dead hard build, so they're not going to die just yet. And they do get Xeno up off the ground, and you can only assume that they want either Xeno to go down here or Pedro, since they're worth less stages, and Pedro is actually able to pick himself back up. So if Easy downs Xeno, and that's the only hook that he secures for the rest of the game, that'll only be one more hook stage, and I think Elysium is most likely okay with taking that. That's a fine result. Pedro here is trying to body block but doesn't quite get it, and if the down cut here comes in on the Marcos, Easy
my gosh,
2 more stages. But Pedro takes it down with no mither.
Holy moly. This team is unreal, man. Oof.
Okay,
I
did
do
he get
not.
pushed out? I don't think. Okay, the thing though is I don't think Pedro can pick himself up in time. So this is probably still going to be a 2K. I don't think Pedro gets up. Yep, and I'm 99% sure that Granout had Unbreakable. So Zeno can't pick himself up either. So I mean, could be worse for or it could be better for Elysium. They are still sacrificing 2 survivors, but at the very least the 2 fresh hooks got out. If I'm not mistaken, I believe this is only 6 stages. Pedro has already been hooked once, and Zeno is of course dead on hook. So if you are going to give away 2 kills here, these are definitely the survivors that you want being sacrificed. And still, the standard for Hillbilly games usually is a 4K. You usually don't see outs at all. So to be honest with you, I think Elysium is comfortable with this, especially with Zeno being a very well-versed Hillbilly player himself. But yeah, this is also a little bit odd because this is on Wretched Chop as opposed to Blood Lodge. But map size is pretty similar and not too much changes here. And we do see the hatch close. So as soon as Easy finds Zeno, this game is pretty much over.
Yeah, and as you did say, those were the 2 fresh hooks getting out, so that is definitely what was most important for Elysium. They did such an incredible job body blocking in that last chase on the way to the exit gate. That was wild. that was just really fun to watch. This was just good DVD to watch. Easy definitely had a little bit of a hard time in this matchup, but again, Elysium is just so strong that it doesn't even necessarily come down to Easy having made any mistakes. It's just Elysium is so clean in their gameplay, but a very good, very fun match to watch, and ultimately is going to be finding Zeno on the ground, going to get that last hook here. Man, what a game.
Yep, and I do agree. I honestly don't think there were any big issues with how Easy played his strategy, or how they played their strategy or their macro. I just really think this was a very hard, mechanically skilled Survivor team to go against, and they were just often getting the better of Easy in those chases.
All right, everyone, welcome back to Game 2 of set number 2, Sorrow v Elysium. This time, Zeno on killer for Elysium. Contra, how are you feeling about the win condition they have to meet here?
Very, very difficult for Sorrow to meet this win condition. The first chase is coming in on the meds here, but yeah, the survivors for Elysium were able to 6th stage the other team's Billy. And we see the first down come in already. Such an early down for Zeno, which is a very strong start. And to make things even more difficult for Sorrow here, the first down came onto the no mither survivor. So typically the first person being chased and tunneled out, they won't really be slugged that much, and no mither in the 3v1 is invaluable. And if Zeno continues to tunnel out onto meds, they're not even going to have that in their favor.
Yeah, and definitely an unfortunate first down for Sorrow. Zeno opting to chase here at the 2 cars. Going to be moving over to Fun Bus, though. A little bit of a bonk there. Meanwhile, going to be heading right back to that hook, and just as you said, it looks like they are going to be going for a tunnel out on the Bill, and that no mither is not going to get to see much gameplay use here in this match.
Indeed, and it looks like Zeno's actually chasing Perks for a second, and I think wants to leave Perks on the ground while he chases down the trail of meds to make a survivor rotate and pick up the slug. And also, in the distance, we do see Hex Ruin regressing those generators when they get off the gens, so that is pretty much double slowdown for Zeno there, forcing a rotation with Ruin up, and he does find the active generator with 2 survivors on it. So there is nobody doing gens right now. So I think Zeno feels very good about this.
Yeah, this is this is a very, very tough game for our survivors here. I think that this could be done pretty soon. They have a lot of pressure right now. They're doing a great job of managing these survivors. Like you said, Ruin doing that passive work on the gens. Not finding Bill, though.
Oh. I think Zeno lunged through that because he saw the crow fly up from the tile and knew that somebody was going to be behind the pallet, even though he hadn't directly seen them. So very good game sense from Zeno there.
Yeah, absolutely.
It looks like Zeno does not mind leaving Easy on the ground and is going to instead go around the map and try to down somebody else. Does find the ace player here, and I think it would be ideal if Xeno can find meds and put them up on their second hook, but really with everybody being injured right now, I think anybody is a good target. Xeno will have a lot of pressure regardless, and now we have 2 slugs on the ground, and no Mither is actually up, so nobody will be able to pick themselves up unless one of them is the unbreakable survivor. And we do see Easy going right back down, and the chase onto Perks will be coming in, and I think Xeno might just be going for a triple slug play here until he finds no Mither, and then hook them all after that.
I think you're right. I think honestly, I don't know. I think that the tunnel out here is not really going to matter at this point. Xeno just has so much pressure. He is wrangling these survivors and pushing them around the map kind of how he needs to. I don't know. There's virtually going to be no gen progress at this point because of Ruin. This is, yeah, I think going for the slug out here is a fair play on Xeno's part.
Mm-hmm. And a little while ago, honestly, I didn't notice it until you just mentioned it now, but we did see Ruin get cleansed. So Hex Ruin is no longer up, but we do see another perk coming into play, which is Thanatophobia. So even though there's no Ruin, all 4 survivors for a little while were all injured or on the ground. So 20% slower gen progress will make it very hard for them to get anything going. And we do see the chase coming in onto Perks here. This is most likely going to be a bounce landing, but they did not have enough distance, and Xeno gets the M1 through the bounce landing. And again, he's just going to keep slugging them. Xeno is going for best result possible here, and we still have not seen a single generator pop.
Yeah, I don't think there's any reason not to continue slugging. I mean, the pressure is... Was that just like a 360 through the pallet?
Yes, it was.
Oh my god, going for style points here. My poor killer butt could never, man.
If Xeno hit that, I would have started geeking out. That would have been insane. But he does also get the down onto Ace here. He is going to be they are going to be forcing Locker, and I think Xeno will actually not be dropping. They're going to some little T-Max from the bell. Xeno will actually be opting to take the hook here, and now he knows where pretty much everybody is. He saw the 2 survivors working that gen, and now this is Meds, who, if they get hooked, they'll be on their second hook of the game. So he does get the down onto Meds there, and I don't think Xeno will slug this for very long. Maybe he'll go for a down here, but then we'll have to pick up Meds because Meds is no Mither, and you know you can't leave that survivor slugged for too long. And Xeno's looking around, trying to see if Easy comes in from anywhere, and doesn't see anything. And I wonder if Meds will be able to pick themselves back up. I don't know if Xeno will be going back there right now.
Man, I have to say, it feels like that first generator was more of a statement than anything else. That little teabag from Meds, that gen just saying, you know what? Yeah, you're going to play really well, but we're still going to get this generator done.
They said, screw a win condition, I pop this gen, so I win. That's what I was getting from that. But Meds actually does go back down here, and there's only 1 survivor left. There's only 1 person standing, and Xeno actually sees scratch marks. So this game is all but over. We do have to remember Meds is no Mither, so right now in about 15 or so seconds, they'll be able to pick themselves back up, but Xeno knows that, and he's going to go straight back to try and deny that no Mither self-pickup, and I don't know if they're going to be able to do anything else here. I mean, Meds gets up, sure, but what can they do? I think this game is still pretty much over. It should be a 4K4 here.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. But again, I think that gen pop, that was like a moral victory for Sorrow. So well done on that part. It is just going to be about cleaning everything up and getting all of these survivors down and back on the hook. Got to get Meds down and immediately hooked at this point. That pesky no Mither coming into play. We said it wasn't going to get any use, but we were wrong.
I mean, okay, if this match followed the normal flow of Hillbilly games, then yeah, no Mither should have gotten any value, but Xeno was able to spot out multiple survivors and pressure the whole team at once and go for crazy slug plays. So, I mean, sure, yeah, no Mither actually did get more value than I expected this game, but that was really only because, again, it was pretty much damage control, just trying to pick Meds up while all their teammates were on the ground. So Xeno was still very dominant, even though this no Mither did get a lot of value. And the Easy is not able to get that unhook. And Xeno interrupts it, and that will be the down. And now it should be officially over because we don't have a no Mither survivor on the hook. Nice curve by Xeno, and Perks goes down. That's wraps.
Holy moly. Sometimes you watch games like this and my brain just doesn't process information fast enough because everything is happening all at once. You mentioned earlier that Ruin had gone down. I did not notice because I was so wrapped up in watching Xeno just like completely dominate this map on Billy. What a game.
Oh, actually, you know what? They did the unthinkable. I think they had wait, no, wait, I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh!
For a second, I thought it was Nobinder and Deli at the same time, but no, that's just Perks. Perks is actually the Deliverance player, so they did successfully proc Deliverance. But I think we're just going to see one last Shaq 1v1 before this game is over.
You know what? I love that, though. Let's do it.
Crowd control, though. They can't play the window. They just have pallet. Is Xeno trying to mind game Shaq pallet? No way. He almost did it.
Oh my gosh.
Good death.
Oh, and the dead heart, too.
Yeah, I think this might be the best Dead by Daylight content I've watched in a long time. Oh, the crouch strike!
Oh my gosh!
Curve, but he makes a pallet!
Let's go! You know, sometimes when you get to this point, you just have to do something fun and enjoy the end of your match. And I feel like, you know, that's what we're doing here.
Oh, absolutely. I am loving every second of this. But wait, Xeno's going for a clip. Oh my god, he almost did the 360 into the curve, but yeah, Perks will be going down. Xeno will just say, you know what, maybe I can't clip you, but I can M1 you in a close hatch, so I will.
Low-key respect, though. Like, what a silly way to end what was such a... Wait, what's going on here? Are we gonna see, like, a proper 1v1 at Shaq?
Maybe?
I feel like... Come on, do it.
I think we might.
Come on. Give us a show. Let's do it.
If Xeno M1's here, I want.
Let's
Elysium.
go!
I want Elysium immediately disqualified if Xeno M1's. You have to chainsaw this, please, Xeno. Give us the content, please.
Oh, come on! Let's go!
Wait, but crowd control is still up. Perks can only vault it one time.
Is he still there? Where is he? Oh my god. No, this is so good. Oh!
Chainsaw doesn't quite hit, and Perks is going to be holding W a bit longer. And going to the truck, not the safest, but they hit them with the cross check, and Xeno body blocks it. But Xeno's just such a good sport, giving them the window vault anyway.
This is really fun. It's so wholesome also to just see comp teams kind of getting along and supporting each other. That's always really nice to see. What a fun match to watch.
That was such a good chase and a good way to end off this Elysium versus Sorrow matchup. I'm really happy we got to see a proper 1v1 here at the end. And okay, all jokes aside, Elysium did take this very confidently. This was a 6-stage game versus a what was it? Was it a 4K4? Yeah, it was a 4K4. So Xeno was very dominant on Billy this set. Does take the set with Elysium very confidently here. But, you know, Zara did their best. We did see some nice chases, just some little mistakes that Xeno absolutely punished them in the most